we're talking vision and jaw and the way that they affect the voice. If your visual field is narrow, what tends to happen is your head turns with your eyes, and the muscles on the back of your head have to do a lot of work to center you in place. You get your head pushed forward, start to get tension headaches. Not good. Okay, same thing with the jaw. The jaw's off center. My masseter muscles and the other muscles of my lower jaw are gonna have to work harder to kind of attempt to centrate my jaw. That's gonna lessen the space in the airway. It's also going to potentially create tension and friction in that area. Also not good. So what do you do about those things? Tune in this week to see. So when we think about sort of the ripple effect that our extremities have on our body, it's kind of like dropping a pebble into water. You know, we have these ripples of vibrations that are created from the ground up. We also have these ripples of vibrations that are created from our hands through our skeleton to our airway. Okay, the most prevalent extremities that exist though are the things that are actually associated with our cranial area, okay, which are our jaws and our eyes. Okay, these two things are absolutely critical to directing the way that our head moves or not, and also when they don't work very well, creating tension in places that are going to affect head voice, chest voice, the way that you sing overall. So starting with our visual field, okay, what I want to be able to do in order to create movement in a direction for my body to feel safety, I've got to be able to look in that direction with my eyes without my head following, because, you know, my head is going to compensate for something that doesn't work very well. So if we have issues with our visual field in one direction, oftentimes what we'll find is that the muscles that direct our eyes in the back of our skull, called our suboccipital muscles, are going to have to tense extra hard to compensate for that, okay? Because they feel sort of a sense of, I guess, threat. So they have to squeeze to kind of hold things in place, okay? So a quick test that you can do with that in mind is I can hold my finger in front of me, and I like to video myself doing this because it's kind of hard to objectively measure this otherwise, but I'm holding my finger in front of me and I look to the left. What I want to be able to do is just kind of keep my head forward, or my eye, so eyes go to the left, and I want to stop when I start to feel my head or my jaw, kind of everything starting to deviate with my eyes. So I can look to the left, come back to center, I can look to the right, come back to center, I can look up, and I can look down. Okay, and typically, like for me, it's to my right. I have a hard time moving my eyes to my right, and oftentimes I do find that I get some right neck stuff and right like headache stuff. So for me, I do a lot of visual stuff where which I'll show you in the subsequent videos, where I'm looking to the right to open up my visual field on that side. Okay, so and those are things that you can combine with a lot of the exercises that we've given in the past that I'll show you. It's a really easy thing to do, but super, super powerful. When it comes to our jaw, I want you to think about it in this way. Our cranial area is different than our jaw in that when we kind of have our upper jaw and our lower jaw, this is our skull, this is actually our jaw. So like when we have a jaw that is, let's say, kind of off to the right a little bit, I kind of use the nose as a landmark. You know, you might have somebody that's like actually off to the left like this. Then in reality, my skull is going towards the right. And that torsion will create, again, compression in your head. You know, it'll create issues with your sinuses, and it potentially affect your upper resonators, your head voice. And so what we want to do is a series of jaw exercises that we can use to objectively measure and then affect the alignment of your jaw, okay? And so in our subsequent video, I'll give you some of those as well. Again, you can definitely combine them with some things that we've talked about in the past, but super powerful. So stay tuned for that, and I look forward to coaching you. All right, so super focused on my upper body here, but what we're gonna do is work on disassociating our jaw from the movement of our head. And so the way this works is that I've got a paper towel roll here. I'm gonna place it behind my neck. Typically, starting on the ground is the most supported position. This towel roll gives my neck kind of a natural lordosis, and it's the easiest thing to control, so I like to start here. In this position as well, I can kind of set up with my feet on the ground. Can't see that here, but my back is against the ground, my back is not arching. But exercise is pretty simple. What I'm gonna do is look as far to the right as I possibly can, before I do anything else, and then turn my head. So what it looks like is I inhale as I look to the right, follow with my head. I'm going to look back to center, exhale, follow with my head. So basically my visual field, how far I can look to the right, is going to dictate how far my head goes. So once again, look to the right, inhale. Look back to center, exhale. And what you'll find is that you'll kind of start with maybe a pretty limited range of motion as far as your vision goes, but as you go along, your visual field is going to open up so you can look further and further. And that's going to give you, back maybe the limitation that you've lost where we were doing the test. You could certainly do this in multiple directions. I could look up in the same way, inhale, look down, or look back to center, exhale. I could look down, look back to center, exhale. The key is that we're creating a delay between the movement of my eyes and the movement of my head. Okay, that's huge. From there, we just extrapolate it out. So, I can come into like a sitting position or a standing position. I could do really the same thing. I could look to the left, breathe in as I turn my head, look back to center, exhale as I turn my head. So the same principles apply. Just make sure that your head is in line with your body. When you start to compensate or go beyond your visual field, you'll find that you'll kind of push your head forward. So be very careful with that. That's a great warm-up for vision. I'd knock out maybe up even 5 to 10 reps of that. Builds a lot more neurological kind of control in those directions, and you'll notice a way enlarged visual field and probably less tension in your neck as well. So one of the issues that I see a lot with forward head posture is called anterior facial tilt. So the anterior facial tilt, it's almost like the face is, the head is forward, but the face is tilted down, and the lower jaw is often behind the maxilla, which is kind of the top portion here. So when you see this, we just want to use the jaw itself with breathing to help kind of reposition this area. And so I'm going to show you two movements that I like, and I'm going to show you a position that I want you to do them in. So I can also do this on my back, kind of like in our last exercise with vision. I can elevate my head, and that would actually, or put a towel roll behind our head, and that would probably be the place to start. But for a quick fix here, I like to just sort of bend my knees, kind of find the middle of my feet. Okay, get into a position where I can feel my hamstrings by just pushing my feet into the ground. I can reach my hands forward to help to push me back. Or if I have this sort of collapsed chest, I can do sort of a tricep extension type thing to help to open this area up. So I'm going to bias my kind of this lower half in the shape that I want. Now, when it comes to my jaw, I'm in this position. If I have this kind of back situation going on, I'm going to push my jaw forward so I can put my finger here, go like that. You can kind of practice that a few times. People stare at you, but that's okay. Get into this position, we inhale as we push our jaw forward. Then we just exhale. Just let it go normally. Inhale as we push our jaw forward. Exhale. Let it come into a position. Now, let's say you've got a situation where we kind of look at our lips, our nose, and your jaw might be off to the left. What we can do then is not only can we push it forward, we can also push it right. It's almost like it's going on a diagonal in this direction. So it would look like this, and my breathing draws do it forward so you can see me. I'm just holding it here. So as my jaw shifts to the right, my cranial area shifts slightly to the left. So it's almost like it's kind of realigning this area to give me a little bit more facial symmetry to kind of open up this area. Okay, so super weird, but very effective. So give those a go. Let us know if you have any questions. Have a great week.